Good morning. Welcome to Bristleberry Cottage. Here we are again for another great week on a gorgeous New England day.
Beautiful.
We are preparing for this week's to-dos. The first thing we're doing this week is the
driveway. We're going to reseal the driveway, and we're going to get the stairs straightened up out on the hill. Put some concrete in those and turn those cinder blocks upright. A little better visual appearance.
Yes. So finally we're able to do that. The stairs we were just trying to wait time-wise, but the driveway as well time-wise, but we just couldn't get the time. We had too many projects going on at once.
And the weather. For the driveway, you can't have rain in the next 24 to 36 hours.
True.
So we have to work that in weather-wise.
Yes, and we had some unbearable days too. The heat was just so unbearable. There's no way you could stand out there and do that. It is a very tough and sweaty job. You don't want to be doing it in the intense heat. Today we're going to be in the 90s. It is another scorcher, but we tackled some projects early. We're about to do the stairs. We've already tackled the driveway,
Yep.
which we did early. That was very smart on Paul's part. He set the alarm and got up pretty early. So now we have 24 hours. We're hoping to make that in time before the rain hits, as we are expecting rain tomorrow. But it looks like it's doing well, and the stairs are about to be started. We have some projects to wrap up next week, and then we'll be heading indoors. So we have a week this week, a week next week of wrapping things up, and then we'll be heading to the interiors. We are so grateful that you are sticking around and watching our videos. It really touches our hearts when you leave a nice comment. It's been really nice to see. We would love to have you join our little Bristleberry Cottage family. Thanks. Yes. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week. So this week we're about to reseal our driveway. Right now Paul is prepping the area by sweeping it. We've had a couple of days of rain, and we're going to have a couple of days of beautiful weather, sunshine, and heat. This is the perfect time to do it. On Friday, we're on Wednesday now. I had to think about what day it was. Wednesday and Friday, we're supposed to get a good 60% chance of rain again. So because of that, we want to get in there and get going on this. So the first thing is we are filling the cracks. There are quite a lot of cracks, and like little divots that we had repaired at one time, just to start it, and then we just never got around to finishing it. So now we're going to do that again, because these areas here are starting to sink. It's just bizarre. We've looked into it. It's nothing really serious. It just happens over time. But we need to fill it so it's level again, and also the cracks in the driveway. So that what you need to do to prepare it is sweep it really well, make sure there's nothing in the cracks. As you can see, we have, like I said, we have patched up past couple years, and it just sinks after a while. So we are doing that, and then we're going to start the sealing process. So right now it needs, once we apply the filler, the crack filler, and the unevenness, filling all that as well. Once we do that, it needs about 24 hours to dry, and then from there we can seal the driveway, and that takes anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. So we're deciding today, depending on how this works out time-wise. We're in late morning, so we kind of got a later start than we wanted to. So because of that, I'm not sure if we're going to just give it a couple of days to dry out and wait for the rain to come through again, and then at that point we'll probably reseal it. But there is a strong possibility, if it goes smoothly and dries quickly, we may just seal it tomorrow, and enough in time for before the rain comes. The only problem is it can go anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. So we really have to kind of work this out in our head, the math, and along with the weather. So we're starting this process now. We have a long enough driveway, but it's not too bad. I imagine people who have longer driveways, it's much more of an issue. We had stones along the fence to help with drainage, to help with the look, the cottagey look. We had extra stones laying around. And also it helped because our fence, our picket fence, is starting to fall apart a little bit. We'll be replacing that probably next year. I just don't think we have the time this year. And obviously we suddenly have the time and the funds, we will replace that. But it looks like it'll be a next year project. But that the stones certainly helped, because there's a little bit of a decline where the bottom of the fence is. And this soil, this dirt, tends to come out into the driveway. It becomes a nuisance where we're constantly sweeping or rinsing it down with a hose. So this has really helped. This was Paul's suggestion to put rocks here. I had wanted to maybe lift it up off the ground, which would have been more expensive, and to have more of a wooden wall almost, and then the pickets on top of that to raise it a bit from the ground, which is a great solution, and it would have looked really nice, but it is much more pricey. This was Paul's solution, which really worked out really well. And we have this random, which I think is adorable, this random pansy, this beautiful purple and white pansy flower that I'm not quite sure why. We didn't plant anything ever with that coloring or anything right here. So somehow it worked our way to our yard. We're very excited about that. And it looks pretty. You don't always notice it, but sometimes you do. So you really need like a heavy duty broom. We've had this for a long time. It's very old, but I'm not even sure where we got it. But you could probably find it at a Ocean State job lot or Big Lots or some sort of hardware store, but we've had it for a while. But you definitely need this to sweep your driveway and prep an area, but we normally sweep with it regularly. We're going to be fixing up too along the edges. If you can see, we have this awful like choppy edge, and the thing is, through the years it sinks. Everything eventually settles and sinks, and it just gets yucky. So it's in the lots of cracks. That just happens over time. It is very expensive to have it tarred again. To have someone come in and tar the whole thing all over again. It is a very, very expensive amount of money. So we need to do it this way every so many years. This particular product that we bought to seal the driveway lasts for about 7 years or 9 years, I forget. But anyway, we had gotten the medium standard. I'm not quite sure how to word it, but there's a cheaper one that will last for about 5 years. The one in the middle is about 7 to 9 years, and then there's one that's for about a decade. So, and there's a significant price difference from, I think it was a 9-year. So to go from 9 years to 10 years and have such a significant difference in price, it was like a $30 difference per bucket. To me, it just seemed rational to just get the middle of the road. I'll have Paul tell me for sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he said it was $67 a bucket. So I feel like that might be wrong. So $30 per 5-gallon bucket. 5-gallon bucket. So for 5-gallon bucket, it's $30 each. So for this driveway, when we calculated out the footage, we found that it ended up being much cheaper. I think that was what it was. Maybe that was the difference, because it's $30 difference. The 67 something for the 10-year warranty that was supposedly the superior quality. Hopefully this is good enough, because I feel like that's just a significant price difference. So we'll find out. But it's supposed to last 9 years. It's supposed to do really well.
It calculated about 3 buckets by the footage that we had put down, but we had gotten 4 just in case, to have it put on really well and have it nice and thick and look nice and last longer, be better quality, but also to give us that extra bucket in case for miscalculation on their part, but also we have an accident or mistake or something, God forbid someone drives on it or stands on it after all, and after all that hard work, it's good to have an extra bucket. If we don't end up using it, we'll return it and you get 30 bucks back. If you do, it's nice to know that you don't have to run out in the middle of a project to have to do that. We can't always do that, but sometimes budget will allow you to do that once in a while. So really under $200 we're redoing our driveway versus thousands of dollars, possibly about 10 grand or more to do our driveway to have it tarred again. To me, that's just an expense that we can't do right now, so we go with this route. How you doing, Paul?
So far, so
Good. It's not too hot today, but it does get very warm in the sun and the heat doing these things. So it's good to check on each other in the hot weather. One of the spots I was talking about, as you can see, we had like a hole here at one time. It just starts to disintegrate over time. A little chunk off there. So obviously this is something we do have to do some major repairs before we actually seal the driveway.
So this product is called Speed Patch by Blackjack, and it says to apply to slightly dampened area but with no puddles. So I'm going to rinse out these cracks with a hose, wait for it to dry just a little bit, and then I'll start applying. Alright, so I'm just going to hose down the driveway, make sure I've got everything off. And once that dries a little bit, I'm going to start filling the cracks. If the crack filler dries quickly enough, I can seal it within an hour. So see how that goes.
And it would only work on a hot day.
Right.
So obviously if you do this in the fall and it's a cooler day, you really do want to wait the 24 hours. And we're going to see how it works out. Obviously we won't do that if it's not ready. And the washing it down, it recommends on the bucket to work with a damp surface. So for the crack filler, but we're also just kind of giving it a good clean before we do the sealer, if we end up doing that today. So that's why he's doing that. I'm letting Paul have the fun today because usually I'm the one who does anything that relates to water because I absolutely love using water. I love watering things and washing things down and just cleaning. I love to see how clean it gets, and it's just fun for me. Maybe it's just the kid in me, I don't know. But I'm letting Paul have some fun today. He deserves some fun sometimes, I guess. You want to make sure dirt and debris is off the driveway, but also that the cracks and the divots are nice and cleaned out. You don't want things collecting in there, and you don't want it dirty. It just won't adhere as well. You want to make sure you're working with a clean surface. Doesn't it make you feel like a kid to play with water? No.
I didn't hear what you said.
Doesn't it make you feel like a kid to play with water?
It does.
It's like jumping in puddles. How fun is that? When this house was being built, this is the driveway, which is a very nice sized driveway, that was put here. But we have all this property, a little more property off to where our line ends. So we had all this extra space, and we can't, according to your footage, you have to have so many feet after the driveway. So what we did was utilize that as we put down this pea stone on the ground, which is very soft and nice. It also reminded us of Cape Cod. Reminded me of a beach, and that was really nice because we wanted this to always feel like a beachy cottage. And this pea stone is great. It doesn't ruin the tires of the car, so we literally doubled the size of our driveway without having to tar more, and also because we couldn't. But it was great because it just gave us that ability to have more cars parked here if we had a gathering. And it was kind of a neat look to it, especially when we did this berm here on the side. That worked out nicely. Don't mind the stones. We had to move that from the picket fence, these stones. But anyway, so now we have it all rinsed down. We're starting the next phase. What we don't want to see happen is have this water pool. So where these divots are, we're going to have to sweep that out. We do not want that to pool in there while we're filling it in. But you needed to give a good rinse down and also to clean it out as well. In hindsight, we're realizing now that we needed 2 buckets.
Whoops. Out of the first crack filler patch, so I got this latexite one. This is the one the local store had. So let's see how that one works. I also got some of this latexite crack filler for the small cracks. Okay, time to refinish the driveway. I've had these buckets stored upside down overnight. Now I'm going to open them up and give them a quick mix and get started. Storing them overnight helps the mixing process. Helps get kind of solids to come to the top. Makes it easier to mix.
So you want to stir this when you're first starting, I imagine.
Yep.
Because we don't know how long it's been sitting there. But also, he's using to stir it a piece of wood that he had laying around. It's good to have some sort of material that you could do that, wood being preferable. It's one that you don't mind throwing out after, or sanding down and reusing, but not so sure with tar on it. Anywho, so the materials needed, Paul, so you have bucket of the sealer.
The squeegee they sell go along with it, and the handle I had at home.
All right. There's
a paintbrush to get around the edges of the house. Make a mess. And that's it.
all right. This is probably about a 2-hour job. So we're in early morning right now. And off we go. Let the adventure begin. So he's pouring some out of the bucket a little at a time, spreading it across. He's going to go somewhat thick, but he is doing a basic thin layer. You want to somewhat pour it away from the edge and then push it out towards the edges. So it's a beautiful day today. It's actually getting quite hot outside, so this is a good day to do it. It will be about 91 degrees today, so it will be a scorcher. So this is a good day to apply something like this, so the heat will dry it quickly. You still have to wait 24 hours. It does tell you after a couple of hours you can walk on it, but I think I'm gonna wait it out if we can, just to be safe and make sure it's nicely cured, even though there's heat today, and it does say that. We still want to be cautious. This is a long and tedious step here, but well worth it in the end, as it will look nice and fresh and new. It's a thin enough layer, so it's not super thick. It's just enough to give it a little more protection and make it nice and new looking again. You really want to give it a good clean before you do, the day before preferably, and fill in cracks and holes and divots, however you want to call it, just to make sure that it's well prepped and it will last long. The point of cleaning it too is you always want to have a clean surface before you do just about any project, so it lasts longer. You know that it will adhere well. It's a busy day today. It's Thursday. I don't know if people are starting their weekends early or they're just going to work, but it's early in the morning and it's already hot out and there's already so much traffic. I don't know, this busy road life gets tiresome sometimes. Paul and I really do enjoy the quiet more than the craziness and hustle and bustle of city life. We are in a suburb, but it does feel like the city sometimes with its hustle and bustle.
You saw that one too, good. I'll have to trim that plant. First thing I'm going to do is get out a bunch of chalk and just draw on my new blackboard. Yeah, paint a permanent one on. Yeah, after all that hard work.
All right. We're done.
Beautiful. Been waiting all summer for this, and it looks so much better already, and when it's dry it's going to look spectacular. Although there's little divots here and there from the squeegee, little lines, it's going to work its way down eventually, but this I've been waiting all summer and it looks so much better than it was, and hopefully this will last like they say for 9 years. If not, we know it's doable, even though it's a frustrating job. It's doable, and it's inexpensive, virtually inexpensive. He's just getting rid of what's left in the barrel, and also in that third barrel, he was right. It only did take 3. It was good that we had the 4, just in case, but now he can return the 4th. So that works out really well. It's always nice to save even more money in the end. But Paul's using up what's in there now because you can't really save it for a long period of time. And he wants to throw out that squeegee. It's just not something you want to have laying around because you can't reuse it. You can't rinse it off enough. So it's fairly inexpensive, so you can buy another one easily without breaking the bank. And we did our driveway. Now we wait 24 hours and then we can walk on it in a couple hours, it says, but I'll probably wait out the 24 hours. And then it's really 24 to 48 hours to drive on it, but I would prefer to probably wait out the 48 hours. However, well, it would be 48 hours, but the elements, we're on Thursday, and we are supposed to get rain tomorrow afternoon, although it will be the 24 hours. Let's hope it doesn't rain too much, and hopefully it'll be cured before then. But driving on it, I will wait until Saturday to drive on it. There we go. We're putting the rack border back. It's less than 24 hours later, but after a couple hours you are supposed to be able to walk on the driveway on the blacktop, and we did last night and it seemed fine, and this morning we're okay with this. We are not removing the pails at the end of the driveway because we don't want anyone to turn in the driveway, as sometimes happens on this busy road. This is kind of the driveway that everyone seems to turn in when they realize they've made a mistake and they've lost their way, and they seem to turn into our driveway. It can be frustrating sometimes, but I guess that's the way. Where our house is positioned, it's kind of the way that happens. But we're going to leave those up to make sure that no one turns into the driveway for a while, so, because that really needs 24 to 48 hours. But we're putting up the putting back the stones along the fence, and we're able to walk on it. As I said yesterday, it is supposed to rain later today, so hopefully that fares well for our driveway. We also wanted to come out here early to put the stones back and check on it, but also hoping to do this video with peace and quiet. But apparently it's busy on this road at all hours of the day. Even though we live in a rural setting, it is a very busy road. I imagine being early Friday morning, people are heading off to work. Honestly, he gets a good workout all the time with all his lifting and doing. So amazing how that flower popped out. That came out of nowhere, that flower. Like, I love that. Just grew on its own. I always word things wrong, sorry.
I didn't know this that first.
Oh,
I wasn't supposed to be talking to the camera.
no, to you. It's looking like our little cottage again. So nice to see the driveway all sealed. Now we didn't tar it again, so you will see the ridges and you will see bumps and you will see all kinds of things, but it is sealed, it's protected. It looks like a nice dark tar look, and it looks way better than it did. It's a big difference in cost than tarring it over again, as that is just too expensive on the budget. So this protects it, helps it last longer, and looks brand new again. It feels nice on the feet. Makes for a smoother, cleaner look. There we go. It's all back together. finished stairs are all set. Looking much better. Tipped over on its sides and filled with concrete so they look more like steps. It looks a lot better. Well, that's it, folks. Another week gone by, and we accomplished concreting the stairs, and we accomplished sealing the driveway, and it's all finished. We're very pleased with it. We somehow managed to get that done in between some very, very hot days and in between rain and thunderstorms. I say that was a pretty good, successful week, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would. We got a lot done.
We did. On to next week. We have one more week next week of outdoor projects, and then we're moving on indoors, and I'm excited. I hope you're enjoying the rest of summer. It's been a lovely summer. I'm getting excited, I guess, for fall, but I've always had this sadness to see summer go, but I'm excited to move indoors on some projects. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, have a wonderful week. We hope that you are enjoying the videos.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button.
And leave a comment if you'd like. We'd love to answer your questions if you have any questions, and we'd love to read all the comments to see if you're enjoying the videos. We really appreciate that. It really brightens our day, and we really appreciate that.
And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye.